What
We're
didn't you do
live
there?
now. What I didn't do, since you are joining me now and I'm having this conversation with Brandon, I didn't create a little lower third of what we're talking about today. I just thought about that right when
Well,
I pressed live. But we're live, Brandon.
we are. We are
Go
live. I
go
have
ahead
a
and
question
introduce
for you.
me. All right, go ahead.
Okay. Are you ready to tango?
Oh, this guy. Um. Oh, geez, this guy. All right. Let's see. True lies. If you're watching this right now, you're seeing that I am blind. I'm looking over my glasses. Um. Oh Lord. Oh Lord. Oh.
That's what she
Oh
said.
Lord. This guy. Oh no, no, don't end the broadcast. All right. Anyway, we won't have a lower third. We just have to keep reminding people what we're talking about because I cannot do it and not lose this. I'm not trying to lose anything. I don't want Aaron Whitlow.
Brandon Spivey. And we
The
are come on, man, let's do it together. Mark out
Mark Out Movie
movie
Podcasters.
podcasters.
It doesn't work well because we're not live together,
That's
so
right. It doesn't. It just
it
doesn't.
doesn't. But Brandon, I'll let you introduce to the people that are listening and watching what we are discussing today.
Today we are discussing the 1994 action-packed hit from James Cameron, True Lies, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger in, and I do believe this is the truth, his last box office hit ever. Which
I think I would agree with that because
I think everything
Last
else he's
Action
done.
Hero came after this, right?
He see it was 94. I think he did Last Action Hero after this, which flopped.
Yeah.
Then he went on like a leave of absence.
The End of Days, it was a flop. It's just like he had
Yeah.
hit decline after.
Then he ran
Uh,
for governor. So
yeah. Well, because Hollywood wasn't biting no more. But this movie stars Arnold Schwarzenegger as Harry, Jamie Lee Curtis as Helen, Tom Arnold again, the second appearance on our podcast as Gib, and then Bill Paxton with I don't call it a cameo, but it's a pleasant viewing of Bill Paxton as Simon, and then Tia Carrere
I
is
love her.
Juno, and then Art Malik is Aziz, and then there's also Grant Hisloff as Faisal, and Eliza Dushku, very young Eliza Dushku is in this movie, Brandon.
I can't believe you're doing it. I can't believe you're doing it.
What am I doing?
You're leaving someone out.
Who do I leave?
Come on now.
Come on.
Oh, Charlton Heston, man. You
Oh,
left him
freaking
out.
Charlie Heston. I forget he's in this movie. Looking like the Marvel version of Nick Fury. Um, with the eye patch and all. Uh, yeah, you got the numbers.
Excuse me. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. It's got a 7.3 out of 10 on IMDb. It got a 63% on Metacritic, 92% like it on Google. It's got a 70% on Rotten Tomatoes with a 76 audience score. So majority of people like it.
Yeah. So this is a sort of I wouldn't. It's not a Thanksgiving movie, but it is. It ties in because it's family. Thanksgiving is about family, and this movie is about family and the lies that families tell in order to, I don't know, be spies.
Where are we going
Oh,
with
yeah.
this?
Huh?
I said, where are we going with this?
I don't know where we're going. And I do want to point out one thing that watching this movie again, but watching it on like a bigger screen with like better resolution, it was glaringly obvious when it was a stuntman. I want to say that
Yeah. Yeah.
it was kind of distracting. I'm like, that is not Arnie. You know, and then I thought about it while I was watching it, Brandon. Hats off to Tom Cruise for
Mm.
doing his stunts, man. Like I give him more props. I give anybody props that is willing to do their own stunts, um,
Yeah.
because it's not jarring when you see them, like, when it cuts to like a scene like the horse, no, was it a horse? He was on a horse. Yeah,
Yeah.
the horse scene, the
Also the
running,
bathroom thing.
yeah, the whole going down the hill at the very beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
Um, so we'll talk about it from the very beginning, I guess. Can you set him up as what happens at the very beginning of the movie, Brandon?
Well, he's a spy. So it's this actually opening does remind me a little bit of the first Mission Impossible uh, that he's in, because they're didn't they like invade like a mansion type deal, same way they do in here.
I want to say they do. A lot of little action movies have this same type of opening, where they are they're trying to leave a heist or
Yeah,
some type of espionage type of thing in order to you know
yeah,
do whatever they do. But yeah, but
yeah. It also kind of reminded me of the video game Splinter Cell a little bit, but basically he's invading this party uh, with ruthless criminals, um, terrorists, and he's trying to get to a computer where they can copy the files in the truck. Not Bill, but Tom Arnold and his protege. I forget who his name is. He's the I don't want to get it wrong. Pakistani
I
dude.
have no idea.
Um,
I don't think he's Pakistani though.
yeah, I get it wrong every.
I think that in this case they're probably like Mediterranean, like
Like
from
Balky, okay.
from like because they talking about they're probably like Middle Eastern, like because they talk about what's that, Hajib, not Hajib, they talk about I'm trying to think of the name of the terrorist organization. They essentially are supposed to be like Middle Eastern terrorists, which this movie couldn't really be done today because that's very controversial too, I guess.
Yeah,
Like
this is
like
right.
making like one group of people
Yeah,
terrorists.
this was right before, like 7 years before 9/11. So yeah, they couldn't do this kind of film today, I don't think. And and here's one thing I noticed about movies in this era compared to today: they had fun back then in the '90s, mid '90s. Today it's really serious, or it's just stupid.
Yeah,
Fast and Furious.
yeah. I would say this also. The opening scene, the opening sequence. I was not annoyed by Tom Arnold. Actually, I enjoyed Tom Arnold more in this movie. And you pointed this out when we watched Big Bully, that like Tom Arnold was better in this movie, and so
Yeah,
I
I think.
agree. I think Tom Arnold was the best he's ever been was in this
Yes,
movie.
I thought he was brilliant in this movie as his, best friend to Harry, Harry's partner. I thought he was just brilliant. But also, I think that could be a bigger difference is he was directed by James Cameron,
Yeah.
who gets his people to be excellent.
Well,
I've
he
never
gets his
seen a
people.
film.
He's a perfectionist, though.
Yes, I've
James Cameron.
never seen a film of his where one person just didn't give the performance of their career. I mean, I look back at the first Terminator, Arnold Schwarzenegger, that performance catapulted him to stardom. I mean, really,
It's crazy that
made
we're
Linda Hamilton
revisiting.
a name. I mean,
I was
it,
gonna say it's crazy that we're revisiting James Cameron. On seeing that we like Avatar 2 is about to come out soon,
yeah,
so it's crazy that we decided to pay Uncle James a visit. But yeah, um,
yeah. I
but
mean, it wasn't done on purpose. Like I always forget that he directed this movie. I just think Arnold, but then I realize, okay, yeah, it's James Cameron. You can tell it's James Cameron because everything's. It's just. It's all. It's like. It's like the perfect '90s action movie. It just the way he sets it all up. It just. It's well written. The characters are well written. I mean, and Aaron left me. Aaron just left
Are
me.
you there?
He's
Are you
back
there now?
You're back now. It
Yeah,
just went blank.
it did the glitchy thing again. I don't know what that is, but anyway, I said it's also revitalized Jamie Lee Curtis's career as well.
Yes, yeah, really did.
She at this point, like her career was pretty stale. At this point, as far as I know, as far as I remember it was a big deal that she was in this movie. Back then.
Yeah.
And it kind of gave her also it revitalized her. She went from like this mom look to like a sexy like lady like look, and shows that she still has that sex appeal. And and it was pretty. Jamie Lee Curtis was excellent in this movie.
Oh yeah, I 100% agree. I never have looked at her as like a set symbol though until this movie. This movie made me look at her in a different light. I think up to this point, I remember her mainly as Laurie Strode and maybe my girl, Shelly, playing Dan Aykroyd's girlfriend. I hadn't seen Trading Places at that point in time or any other bigger films she had done, but that's what I really remembered her was she was Laurie Strode in Halloween and she was in My Girl. And I thought she was excellent in this movie. I thought she played the almost like a bookworm housewife role very well. And then like her awkwardness when she gets caught and it has to, she thinks she has to go undercover in the hotel and with Arnold. We'll get there, but I thought that was hilarious. I thought she was sexy in the movie. I thought 100% sexy.
I was trying to look and see if I can find because before this, she was in My Girl 2, Mother's Boy, which it was a flop. It was a flop. It wasn't big. It might be a cult classic now, but it wasn't really huge. She's in Forever Young, which I thought was a decent movie.
Mel Gibson,
with Mel Gibson. Before this is '92. But yeah, I think that it was this movie, like I said, it kind of just, if anything, I'll say Arnold and Jamie Lee Curtis in this film together and it being released the way it released probably propelled her to like an A-list type of status. Because Arnold back then had that star power that he was, tell you what you will, Arnold was the biggest action star.
Oh, yeah.
At that point in time, and then I would say Sly was behind him. And then you have the other guys like Van Damme. And then you had, I'll say you give Steven Seagal credit. He was something then, but he wasn't that A-list.
I wouldn't say he was A-list. I wouldn't say Van Damme was A-list. I would say they were B-list, but they were the top of the crop as far as martial art action films. It's kind of how we do with horror, the icons, the A-listers, the B-listers, the C-listers. I would put Van Damme and Seagal B-list, but I think the top three was definitely Schwarzenegger, Stallone, and Bruce Willis. I don't think anyone would argue that. Not especially during the '90s at the height of action. Well, you may say Mel Gibson, but I don't know.
I don't think that he was
an action star. Other than
I don't think so. Like you have, like you're right. You can. That would be actually a crazy list of action stars. But I would say for sure Arnold was the man, and then he passed that torch to The Rock, and I think The Rock now is the man. But definitely. Yeah, that's just how I personally feel about it.
I agree. I like Sly better, but I agree.
Knives Out 2, Glass Onion was mad good. I want to see it. I haven't watched it yet.
When's it hit Netflix?
It is going to be a straight to Netflix thing, right?
Yeah, well, it's in theaters right now for like a week. Then it's going to Netflix. I don't know if it's going straight to Netflix or if they're going to wait a little bit. But
Yeah, I work for Netflix. I did get screeners for Bones and All, Till, another little movie, and then I got something else the other day. Some more movies. I
oh,
don't
you got
can't
a
get over
lot.
there. Huh?
You got a lot.
Yeah,
What
like
I thought.
they've hit me with a bunch of stuff, man. I mean, then Pinocchio. I can't wait to watch it. It's like Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, so it's going to be interesting. I like Guillermo del Toro. But anyway, I think Tia Carrere, I can't pronounce her name.
Oh, I love her.
From I think about Wayne's World immediately.
I think of Wayne's World. I think of what's that movie she did? She did with Jeremy London, My Teacher's Wife or something. I don't know. It was a comedy. She was like his tutor. They kind of fall for each other, kind of deal. Christopher McDonald was the husband. I think of that movie as well as Wayne's World and True Lies.
She's still acting, so
She is.
She's in Easter Sunday.
Yeah, she was. She was. She was in it. That's all I'm gonna say.
You said that movie's trash. So
I didn't like it. I thought it was. It should. It felt like it was done in the '90s, but not a very good comedy in the '90s. You know.
look, the thing about her though is hard for me to buy her as a villainous woman, and because I think about her in Wayne's World, and it's hard because she's so likable in that movie that
But
I
she's
can't
like a
really.
likable Bond villain, you know, and
Yeah, yeah, she's like a Bond girl. She'll be a perfect Bond girl actually.
yeah.
Well, maybe then I don't know about now, but
And she
then
still
she
looks
would.
pretty good for an older woman.
Does
I'm
she?
down. She does. Man,
Ooh, I want to talk about this. So after he gets away. I love the getaway. I love Arnold at the party at the very beginning. He's like going through. He's talking to people, and
yeah,
people like, who is he? Like they really don't know who he is. I love that. I love that little thing about like he's just so suave and so confident,
yeah,
but nobody literally knows who this guy is. And when he escapes and he's going down the hill, it's obviously a stuntman, but um, and that was like, oh man, and that made me, like I said, think about Tom Cruise and how well he would have actually done the stunt, but it didn't take away from the movie itself, like that part of it. But I love the reveal when when they get back and they reveal that he's married and he's a husband and
yeah,
he's supposed to be on this trip. And the guy's like, "Here, take your ring, take your ring." Like he's the best. Tom Arnold is the best like wingman that you could
yeah,
possibly
yeah.
have.
And, you know, here's the funny thing is,
Oh Lord, Brandon, you didn't tell me.
I was kind of hoping you were gonna miss those.
Oh Lord,
Yeah,
there's no way to. All right. Anyway, I gotta find out how to make Biff for a admin on here so he can kind of go in and get rid of the bots. But go ahead. What were you saying?
I just felt like Tom Arnold, in many ways, kind of steals this movie every time he's shown. And I remember when we were talking about Big Bully, and I said that he was the only movie I've seen him in that he was really good in was True Lies, but I forgot how good he was, and it's just a shame he didn't get more roles like this or work with really good directors after this, because he was just terrific. But I agree with you. He is the perfect wingman. He takes care of Harry in every way possible.
Yeah.
He's the perfect wingman. You said it, and he really is. He's so funny in this. He's
Rob,
genuinely funny.
Robbie Kramer comment on Facebook. He called the name of the terrorist organization was the Crimson Jihad.
That's
He
it.
says the
That's it.
name of the terrorist group in True Lies. Thank you, Robbie. I was trying to I wanted to make sure I have comments up on Facebook just in case people comment. So I appreciate that. Yeah, they're Crimson Jihad. And so Middle Eastern,
Yeah.
not Pakistani, but
Again, you know, I usually get these things wrong.
but that's cool. But no, I love that reveal that it felt like a real marriage. I would say this about Arnold movies, especially when he's a family man or have a wife or something in the movie. It always feels genuine. Like
Yeah.
I think about Jingle All the Way, his family in there. I thought about his in Commando, his relationship with his daughter. In that movie, Alyssa Milano.
Yeah.
I think that he has a way of making it feel genuine. That this is, you know, for what it's worth, people think of him as just a big action star. They can't
Oh, he was
really
more.
move, but
He is more.
he can do. He also has comedic chops. Like
Yeah.
his movies, for what it's worth, man. Honestly, you got to give the man his credit.
Oh, I give him a ton of credit. I give him and Slot credit. Where a lot of people don't. They just they make fun of them. But I think for what they do, I think they're very talented actors.
Mhm.
I do. I think Arnold. Who else could pull off a pregnant man in that era? Being
That's
who
true.
Arnold was,
You know what?
who else
And
could do that?
that's true. That's true. And that's what makes that movie so brilliant is he was okay with like thumbing his nose
Yeah,
at who he was, who he's known as. He's just big mega super action star, and he's like, I'm gonna play a guy that gets pregnant and go through all the hormonal
yeah,
things that a woman will go through. And that's a movie that we got to revisit maybe next year. I hadn't seen a movie in so long.
yeah.
I'm down for
One
it.
of my
So,
favorites of Arnold, honestly, and my dad hates that movie so much.
but I think it's funny. Also, twins. Like I've always had a lifelong like love of Arnold. Like with twins, with what's the other film? That Kindergarten Cop. He's
Yeah,
like really. He was able to take an action movie, be an action star, and make it comedic. Like, and I thought about this movie. I thought about the idea when I was watching this movie. When I thought about people doing their own stunts, I thought that this version of a movie would be also really good if you had like a Jackie Chan playing like a father, like a husband who maybe he says he does something like a
yeah.
boring job, but he's really like a spy. I thought
I
about
think
that
he
while I was
made a
watching
movie
this.
like that, if I'm not mistaken.
Jackie did.
I think so. Like in the early 2000s, I want to say he did, where he was playing a spy, but he had the cover that he was. I don't know. I don't know if he was a family man, but I think it was with him and Jennifer Love Hewitt. I think. I definitely know he was a spy in the movie, but I don't remember exactly all the details to that movie. But yeah, I think they've all tried it. Maybe not Stallone. I don't think he's tried to. I don't know if
Oh,
he's
I
been
didn't
a
mean to
spy.
do an angry thing. That's the angry thing is me. I'm sorry.
What's going on?
There's like a little ticker on there that shows like thumbs up or emojis. I put an
Oh,
angry emoji. It's not. Let me maybe replace it with a heart. I'm sorry. But yeah, I didn't mean to send angry. So people don't be mad. It's not. We're not mad about this movie. Uh, but anyway,
I have no idea what he's doing over here, but
I was trying to see the comments and stuff on Facebook and accidentally pressed the wrong button and I tried to mute it on my right here so I don't hear it and accidentally
oh
said
Lord.
the angry thing. So
Oh,
people gonna think that we're angry. We're not angry.
quote Larry Appleton. Oh my Lord.
Um, one thing I liked about this at the very beginning also is whenever he's like, yeah, I'm about to, like the protege kid was like,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
I'm about to greasing it in, I'm getting it in, we're about to da da da, and then like Tom says, well, if you just do it, he's
Yeah, he's
like,
like, just copy the damn files.
yeah, 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 I love it. Just oh man, but yeah, Eliza Dushku, I would say if anyone was underwhelming in this movie, it'd probably be
He had a
Eliza.
reason to be though.
Huh?
She was harassed by
Oh, really?
one of the crew members in this movie. Yeah,
Oh, what?
sexually harassed.
Oh, Lord, I feel bad for saying that then. My bad.
Yeah. So she had a reason. She had a very bad experience. She talked about it a little bit when she got older, and I didn't know anything about it. I was like, wow, I had no idea. But
She
yeah,
was pretty young in this too. She was probably about what 12, 13?
around that age, I would say maybe 14, but she was around that age. Yeah. And Arnold, she said Arnold had no idea. James Cameron didn't know. Like I guess she kept it quiet. I don't know, but she finally came out about it a few years ago.
I'm sorry to hear that, man. Now. I do like Eliza Dushku. I like
Yeah,
her as an
she's
actress. I
great.
think she was great in Buffy. Uh, did she end up on Angel? Well, she was on Buffy
She
as the
was
alternate.
on Angel for
Uh,
like 5 or 6 episodes towards
yeah,
the end.
but also she had Dollhouse, which was a great
I haven't
little.
seen that one,
I've seen a couple of episodes. And I really enjoyed it. But I like Eliza Dushku, and she she
but I
doesn't
always think of
she don't
a
work
wrong turn.
huh?
I always think a wrong turn with her.
Yeah, absolutely. And that movie actually revitalized the slasher
Yeah,
films for its time, but brought it to like a more edgier. It's more like a ode to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but like in the
hmm
hills of like I think it was in Virginia or something like that. But yeah,
it was either Virginia or West Virginia.
yeah. But I
Yeah,
love the first Wrong Turn for sure.
that's really the only good one.
Yeah, really only good one. Like if they just made it a one and done, like everything about that movie is pretty perfect. But but yeah, nevertheless, I wanted to mention. Let's see, what else I want to mention. Uh, we got met things coming, people coming in and out of the front yard. That's fine. Anyway, all right. So anyway, I'm hearing noises, but I wanted to ask you about the so I want to ask you about the next big action sequence will be. Oh no! Before we get there, this is what I want to ask you about. Did you forget that Tia wasn't the main bad guy? And that the
No.
I
I
totally
knew.
forgot that. So when he came in the office and slapped her, I thought I was shocked. I was shocked. I said, oh man. And and then it dawned on me, oh yeah, he is the main bad guy. I totally forgot about him being the main villain in this movie.
No, he's
Um,
good though. I mean, he played a very good terrorist, if you can say that. Uh, you
he
know,
really did. Yeah,
yeah. I mean,
he did.
he was menacing. He was a good challenger for Arnold. Because a lot of times, a lot of these guys don't really match up well with Arnold.
Yeah.
Physically, he's no match, but brains wise,
You know,
he knew Arnold was bad. He knew he wasn't. He was like a cop or something. You know.
my favorite Arnold villain. I'll be honest with you, and I know it might get a lot of hate. Bilford don't hate me. I don't know if you hate. I don't know. I don't know you like that, buddy. But I'm gonna say this. I don't believe. I believe that my favorite Arnold villain was actually the dude from Last Action Hero, like the actual
Him.
the
Yeah.
guy with the. I'm talking about the guy with the axe though, the one that was like menacing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved him. I loved that concept, and so he felt like a real villain, and I really felt
I
like vibes, like oh
I
man,
thought he was great. And actually watching that movie, I wanted Arnold to really make the Jack Slater film franchise. I really wanted that. For me, I go more reality based. I go Collateral Damage, Cliff Curtis, who later did Fear the Walking Dead, and he's in Avatar. This new Avatar coming out, he's in that. So it
is it?
connects.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
all right.
he was also in the Meg as Statham's best friend. But most people will remember him from Fear the Walking Dead. But I thought it was a good villain. He was a terrorist, actually, killed Arnold's family in a bombing. I just thought it was so. It came out about the same time 9/11 happened. which they pushed it back because of that. I thought it was so reality based. Like you could believe it. I don't know if that was because of 9/11 or just how good they were in the movie, but I thought it was a really good villain in that movie.
I don't think that I've ever seen Collateral Damage, actually.
Really?
To be honest with you.
That was one of his comeback movies that flopped. But I liked it. I thought it was good.
Michael Ironside was the villain.
In what? Which film?
He'll tell you.
I'm trying to think of.
Thank you for keeping them honest. It reminds me of Around the Horn when they used to have to do the fact check people.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I think that the Michael Ironside is excellent. By the way, do you know Michael Ironside?
Yeah, I know he is.
He's such a great.
Arnold.
He's just a great actor, man. Period. But yeah, no. I was gonna while we were talking about like best villains or whatever. I was gonna mention. I would say my favorite. Say if I was gonna talk about Bruce Willis as well, it's random. But my favorite like Die Hard villain is actually I would say Hans and then Simon. Those would be my favorite ones. Hans Gruber is just excellent. Period. Alan Rickman is perfect. But then his brother Simon, who was played by
Jeremy Irons.
Yeah. Great. He was just as villainous as Hans. And I loved it, man. Total Recall. Oh, okay.
It's been a long time since I've seen that movie.
I haven't seen Total Recall in so long. Yeah. But all right. So about this movie, like the next big action sequence, which was really actually revisiting it, was actually pretty amazing. Is the chasing with the motorcycles and the horse in the hotel.
In the bathroom.
Oh no, the bathroom. The bathroom.
It leads to the horse, but it starts in that bathroom.
In the bathroom. Did you get vibes? Do you feel like that Ghost Protocol? I think it's Ghost Protocol. Do you feel like? Well, maybe it's not that. I don't forget what it's called, but the one Mission Impossible movie borrowed heavily from the bathroom scene in this movie.
I think it's the first. I think it's the first.
No, it's not the first one. It's the one that has. It's the one that has. What's name in it? Henry Cavill, the one with him in it.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, because they have that big restroom fight scene.
I was thinking with the camera, like in his glasses, he can see what's behind him or whatever.
Well, yeah, I was talking about more that bathroom, just the fight sequence, because I always thought, like, in my opinion, the best bathroom fight scene, if you want to say there's bathroom fight scenes, you can have the best one. I always thought that one with Tom Cruise in that Mission Impossible movie was pretty awesome. I wish I could turn off my motion thing right now, but I can't because it will exit me from this, and I don't want to be exited. So we're gonna have to deal with it. You're gonna hear my Blink talk about motion in the front yard because people deciding to come in and out the door. I don't know. That's life, man. But anyway,
it's life. But I do have a question since you brought up Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
And I brought up Bond earlier. Do you think this could have been Arnold's spy franchise if he chose to go in that direction?
Yeah, I felt like, matter of fact, with the ending, I think that's what they wanted to do. It seems like, but I don't think how. We gotta talk about it too. But yeah, I don't think that. I think America has been trying to get like a equivalent to Bond. That we can have, and I think they wanted Triple X to be that, but clearly it wasn't.
That's bad casting.
Yeah, well, I thought it was with Vin. I thought it was good, and then like they recast it with Ice Cube, and I thought it was terrible. I thought it was bad. I thought it was bad, man. Try to get Vin. Try to get Vin back.
Well, they did get Vin back, and it was awful.
Yeah, but at that point, the damage was already done. But,
yeah, I mean, I don't know which one is my favorite Triple X movie. I I don't really like the franchise, but Vin was hot on the first one. He was really hot.
Read that for me.
Born is American Bond, but he's not.
Yeah.
Doesn't that take place in the UK?
Yeah, but America, it's America produced type of film. Well, and he's an American.
International
He's
to me.
American guy. I would say Jason Bourne is probably the closest that we have to a Bond.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. It just, I don't know. It felt international, like when you say America's Bond. I mean, I feel like you're meaning it takes place in America.
I don't know. I don't think you can really. I think making a good action type of spy movie, it has to take place overseas somewhere, or in a different country. I don't think that you could really pull it off. I might be wrong, but I don't think you can really pull it off here in the United States as well.
Maybe I thought that's what you were meaning by it.
No,
But,
I meant like an Americanized
Bourne would be the
spy. I'm talking about an Americanized spy.
Yeah. Then Bourne would be. Yeah, no doubt. Although I'm not like the biggest fan of the Bournes. I like a few of them, but
I'm not the biggest Bond fan, honestly. I did like the Daniel Craig version. I didn't. I know this is controversial, but I did not like the other guy. What was his name? Not Sean Connery, but
Roger Moore.
No, after Roger in the '90s Bond.
Timothy Dalton. Well, he did one in the '90s. Oh, you're talking about Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan. I didn't really like Pierce Brosnan. I don't know. I just never like when he popped up in like Mr. Doubtfire. I was like, I can't stand this guy. I don't know why. Maybe it's because of Mr. Doubtfire. That's why I didn't like him. I just was like, I don't like him.
No, I think he's a great Bond, but the only good movie he made was the first one, GoldenEye, which I think is one of the best Bond movies ever. But the other three he made were terrible, just terrible Bond films. So I think that it counts him out as for me anyway. He's not my favorite Bond. Sean Connery is. I thought he was the best. Then I would probably say Daniel Craig.
Okay. But yeah, but nevertheless, back to this movie. What did you think about? What we got to talk about? So it looks like their marriage is in trouble.
Definitely in trouble.
But what do you think about that versus Jamie Lee Curtis's character just being naive? Because I felt like she was very naive when it came to like she wanted that action, that adventure, and so she thought Bill Paxton was going to give that to her. He was trying to give her something else.
Yeah, he was going to give her something. But Bill, I have to say this about Bill. He's just great in this little role he's in. He's just one of those actors, or he was one of those actors that no matter the time he's in the movie, no matter how big of a role it is, he will make it memorable. And he definitely does that in this. Even in the, what was it, first Terminator, when Arnold kills him, it's still a memorable role for him. Because it got him.
I didn't even think about the fact that this is his second movie with Arnold.
Yeah, it was his third with James Cameron. He did Terminator, Aliens, and this. So, I mean, not to mention he did Predator 2 as well. I mean, he's connected to Arnold in big ways. But I thought he was great. But I do agree with you that she was a naive wife that, thought her husband was this big bore and, never home. So she wanted some excitement, wanted some action. And she thought she had it with Bill, but Bill's a con man who's a car salesman.
I want to talk about this. Like Bill Paxton hasn't really ever had that movie where he was other than Twister, where he's like the main guy.
Yeah.
You went away.
Yeah. You kind of froze on me.
Flick.
He's coming back. He's coming.
Are you there?
Hey, I'm here.
All right. You went away there for a minute.
You went away too.
Well, it's just I don't know. It's probably my internet connection. I have no idea. But I want to say this that Bill Paxton. So he's never really had that movie where he was like the biggest star, other than like Twister, where he's like the dude in Twister.
Yeah.
But like before this movie, the last big claim to fame he had was Tombstone, and then he got True Lies, and then it looks like you got Frank and Jesse, which I've never seen that.
That's a good Western. It is.
And then he got Apollo 13, which was a nice little. Was that a James Cameron film as well?
No, it's Ron Howard.
Ron Howard. Okay, he got that film, and then he, like I said, in '96 he got Twister. So he was very busy.
Then he got to work with Cameron again in Titanic.
In Titanic, yeah, he was in Titanic, and Mighty Joe Young, which was a flop. UV71, which was not as big of a hit. I loved he was in Frailty, although I don't recall. Was he the dad in Frailty?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember Matthew McConaughey the most in that movie, but yeah, so he really started just back to what you were saying though. I feel like with Bill Paxton, whatever role he gets, he does an excellent job in that role.
Yes.
And he owns it, like he's believable as this car salesman that's trying to take advantage of women. He seems sleazy, you know.
Oh, he is.
I think about Weird Science, back in the Weird Science, like Chet. Like you would look at Weird Science, you wouldn't even think that this is the same guy that later on was in Twister. You know, like
no way, none. Yeah. No, you didn't think that guy had much of a career going forward.
Here's a guy that honestly his passing left a big hole in Hollywood. You know, in movies and TV. I like Bill Paxton, man, and so like I said, when I seen him in this movie, I got excited because I was like, I forgot he was in it, and so I'm like, hey, Bill Paxton, and you know, yeah, he's just one of those guys.
You always love seeing him pop up and anything. And last year when we reviewed Edge of Tomorrow, just seeing him pop up in that with Tom Cruise, I mean, it gave me goosebumps to see that scene over and over and over. But I loved it. I mean, I loved seeing Bill work. I mean, he just came off like a really good dude that, you know, that was very humble and
very authentic.
Yeah, and you know, he didn't take anything for granted when it comes to his roles in movies. He gave it everything he had, and you saw that in every movie he did. I think of the miniseries Hatfields and McCoys with Kevin Costner. He was amazing in that. So I mean, I think he was just one of those guys that just gave it all, and he is missed. He's greatly missed today.
We mentioned you mentioned Charlton Heston, Charlton, who was for his era probably the biggest. He was like probably the biggest star in his era at one point. Like you gotta give him credit, you know, for Moses, for you know that movie. What is it? With 10 Commandments?
First Planet of the Apes.
Planet of the Apes. Yeah. Damn dirty. Get your stick in.
Yeah.
Just Charlton Heston, man. Was like he was that guy, man. And so for him to pop up in this movie, was great. I forgot that he was in it. I'm glad you reminded me. Because when I seen him, I said when I was watching it last night or the night before, I said, "Oh, Charlton Heston," you know. Yeah. And I was like, and it was like cool to see him, but I don't know. I think I forgot that he was in it because he wasn't in it as much. He only had like 2 or 3 different scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But do you also feel like Harry abused his power in this movie?
Oh, he definitely abused it. Definitely. And he knew he can get away with it. You know, because even Charlton Heston says he says, the slack I give Harry, what makes you think I'm gonna give it to you? You know, and you know, I just I thought he was really good in the movie. For the small role he had, it was good to see him work with Arnold. Like I never thought I would see Arnold work with somebody in that era.
Mhm.
Share the screen, and I always mark out when I see stuff like that. I marked out when I saw Adam Sandler work with Robert Duvall in Hustle. You never think you'll see someone you grew up loving who you knew was not this big time actor, big comedy star, but not a true, genuine actor, but
Yeah.
working with one of the greatest that I've seen personally growing up.
We didn't get into what we watched, by the way, but I did want to ask you real quick pause from True Lies. What was your thoughts on Hustle?
Oh, I thought it was a solid basketball movie. I thought Sandler did a great job. He's really grown into an actor, like a genuine actor. And I don't think he's kind of like these guys that were in the '90s action stars. They just don't get the credit they deserve. Everybody looks at him like he's just Mr. Slapstick comedy, but just a goofball that won't grow up. But he's got range, like Jim Carrey. He's got range, and they just don't. Jim gets more respect, but Adam doesn't.
I also love the guy that played the basketball player. The basketball player who played the basketball player.
Yeah,
I'm not familiar with him at all, but I thought he was believable. As a guy just wanted to do like succeed for his family.
mm-hmm.
I thought that it was I thought the movie was good. My biggest issue I had with it, I thought that Queen Latifah was miscast. Nothing against her. I think that she's good in the movie, but I don't believe her as Adam's wife. Even if nothing against anything, I just feel like she was a miscast person in that movie, in that role. But I mean, but she's at this point, I consider her like a friend of Adam. So because she pops up in, I think might be the first time she popped up in one of his films.
Yeah, I hadn't seen her in anything regarding Adam before. But
Bo Cruz signed with the NBA Raptors in real life. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, but I thought he was good in the movie.
I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I thought it's gonna be. I don't know if it's gonna get any nominations, but I thought it was an excellent little film. But
yeah, I mean, he won't get nominated. I mean, if they didn't nominate him for Uncut Gems, no way. I thought it was much better in Uncut Gems, but I thought he was really good in this. You felt for his character.
Yeah.
But I thought Uncut Gems, he was on another level.
While we're before I get before the end, we're gonna do what we watched. We'll talk about then before we get into what we're gonna probably watch this weekend, and what we're gonna be doing next week. But so after the bathroom scene, we have the big chase through the streets leading into the hotel, which I love the idea of them. One of them is on the elevator with a motorcycle. The other is on the elevator with the horse.
Yeah.
I was thinking about Nope the whole time because I was thinking about don't stand directly behind the horse, and I'm thinking there's one scene where that lady was kind of behind the horse, and I'm like, oh, if you don't have her move, because that horse can buck, and they'll knock the soul out of that lady.
Yeah.
So, but I thought for the most part it wasn't bad. The Rise, aka Greek Freak. Okay, yeah, is that a documentary?
No, it's an actual film.
It's an actual film. It's
Yeah.
not. It's a biopic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll have to watch
His
it.
brother. Yeah, how they got to the NBA.
Okay,
But it tells more about him towards the end.
Giannis.
Yeah.
Okay, hey, Giannis is he's like the future, man. I'm gonna be honest, but yeah, I like him. I like him.
He's the future. I
Yeah,
would say he's the present, but
I mean, meaning like he's like he's gonna go down in history like as one of the greats. I pray. I feel like he's like really sensational. I think he's actually considered himself a student of Kobe. I might be wrong on that. I thought that he kind of did some camps and stuff with Kobe. But anyway, and Kobe Bryant to me the is
You gonna
controversial.
put him up? You gonna put him past Michael?
I'll put him over Jordan.
Really?
He had.
Oh
I love
man,
Jordan, but I'm more of a Kobe fan. It is
I
what it
hated
is.
Michael Jordan, but
I,
dude's the goat.
I
Dude's the
love
goat.
Michael, and I know we gotta get back on top, but I loved Michael. The game that changed my mind on Michael because I was all about Charles Barkley and the Suns and all that. But the game that changed my mind on Michael is when he played with the flu-like symptoms. I think it's poison is what happened, but because it's in Utah and they scandalous there. But yeah, he played and still put up points and won. That impressed me, and I was like, okay, I gotta take stock in this guy, man. He's really cool. That's how I felt. So
Yeah, I was more of a Pippen fan, but you know, I just thought Pippen was more humble.
mhm.
Jordan didn't come off humble to me, and he came off really arrogant. But he backed it up on that court, and he took everything personal. He was.
That's how Kobe had that mentality.
Yeah,
Uh,
he had the Michael Jordan mentality.
yeah,
Absolutely.
like he had the work ethic. He didn't they lose. Like you don't celebrate. You lost, but you know you lost the last few games and you won. You're gonna celebrate. He said, "There's no celebration. We got to grind." I like Kobe. Kobe had that work ethic, man. And the world misses him. And so, but yeah. But nevertheless, back to True Lies. I feel like when they get into the stuff with Bill Paxton and Jamie Lee Curtis, it's a good way of introducing her into the world of what her
Yeah, it
husband
was. It
went
was. It
through.
was a good way.
Um, but I love how they changed her from like this, like I hate to say it, unattractive house mom to this attractive woman that and she wasn't gonna take any crap from no man, even in this mystery man in the hotel room. She was not gonna do the job. You know what I'm saying?
No, she wasn't good at the job.
Uh,
Uh,
but yeah, I loved it, man.
I thought it was a great build up to that with her character arc. I thought it was a great build for her. And I love when they actually get captured and he's having to tell the truth. And she's like, "Have you ever killed anybody?" "Yes, but they were all bad." And then when he breaks free and she's like, "I married Rambo." I love that line
Yeah,
still to this day because that's a dig at
yeah,
Stallone.
I love how well I don't see so much on Sly's side of things, but Arnold for sure has taken shots
Oh
like
yes.
right over the head of Sly. Like in Last Action Hero, they went to the Terminator and it has Sylvester Stallone. He said, "I love that guy. I'll be back." Whatever he said, whatever he said. But I love that in that meta joke of their competition with one another. I love it. Just but in
Yeah.
in reality they're friends. But yeah, we all thought that they had beef.
Well,
Maybe they did at one point.
Sly says that it was real, so I don't know. I mean, if it's not real, it's a good gag, but for the fans,
And
but
I think that's what so and I'm sorry to get off of the topic, but that's what's so impressive for me about the expendable films is like especially the one where we had Bruce, had Sly, had Arnold together was like,
yeah,
how amazing that is. How it's like that's before the MCU stuff and seeing all these different characters together. That was a very phenomenal thing to see. And then you had Jet Li in there, it'd be man, if you had Jackie, just imagine like,
they tried to get Jackie, but Jackie wanted more of a buddy movie with Sly than an assemble cast.
well, but I think that I would love to revisit the expendable films. Actually, I enjoyed them. I think I enjoyed all of them. I think the last one was kind of the weakest, but
Yeah, it
I
was.
enjoyed. Yeah, I enjoyed for the most part. I love the concept that all these people from like the 80s and 90s. Terry Crews is a miscast, I think. Um,
He's no longer part of it.
yeah, I felt like he's a miscast. Like he wasn't really. I felt like that role would have been perfect with Carl Weathers. Is his name Carl Weathers?
Yeah,
Carl. Yeah, him would have been perfect in it, or even the dude that was from Alien. I know is he? I don't know if he's still living. Really, the guy
Lance.
that was friends with Jesse uh, Ventura.
Oh, Bill Duke.
Yeah,
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 he's more of a director these days than an
yeah,
actor.
he would have been perfect. Or if they was to redo it, if they was to recast it, I think Jonathan Majors would be perfect.
Be better.
Yeah, he'll be better, and he would be like believable. I would love to see that. Or now, man, shoot your shot, dude, and get the Rock. Shoot your shot.
The Rock.
Shoot your
The
shot,
Rock
man.
wanted to do one, but he wanted to be the villain hunting them down. And I
Oh,
thought that sounded awesome, actually. But I don't think Sly wanted to go that direction. And now he's kind of passing the torch to Statham. So
okay. Yeah, that's interesting, man. But yeah, I love the series. I did. I'm all about it. But anyway, back to this one. Anything else you want to mention that stood out to you?
well, I
Oh,
thought, overall the action set pieces stood out. I love the ending, with it's not a plane, but
before we
fighter
get to
jet.
the ending, I want to mention one thing I thought was hilarious. I loved it. When the villain is giving his big magnum opus of what he's gonna do,
Oh,
and the
yeah.
camera is dying. I love
Yeah.
it's like the nervousness on the guy is like, it's
You know
like,
what that scene reminds me, though? It reminds me of when the Terminator dies.
hmm,
How the camera goes blank. It just kind of reminded me of when the Terminator officially dies. I didn't know if that was a play on the Terminator or not, but it hit me. It's like, oh man, that's kind of like how Arnold dies in the second movie.
yeah,
It just kind of goes blank like a camera.
yeah. But I liked it, man. But yeah, talk about the end. So we have two big endings.
Yeah,
Well, we had a mid ending, which was still very dramatic. You had the long bridge sequence with the limousine with the driver is now shot.
yeah,
Tia and Jamie Lee Curtis is fighting in the back of it. Um, Jamie Lee knocks her out with a bottle, but at the same time, Arnold is he didn't commandeer the plane at this point, but he's like trying to get her, and it's the whole uh scene of her like I remember the iconic scene of her dangling and flying over the bridge in the water and screaming his name, Harry,
yeah,
uh, and just that iconic scene there. But then another felt like James Cameron. That could have been the end, but I think felt like James Cameron wanted a bigger ending, and I would say the stuff with the plane, the was a bigger ending. Uh, he said, "You're fired." This guy.
yeah. I love it. I mean, the one-liner. I love it. Like you're fired, and he blasts the missile off into the chopper on the other end. It personified 90s action films, but there's a lot of heart in this movie as well. It's cheesy, no doubt, and it's over the top as well, but it also felt like the characters were real, at least on the good guy side. Like I felt Harry was a real dude. I felt like even Bill Paxton felt like a real sleazeball. Like that they really exist like that. I mean, how they try to con women. But I don't
Yeah,
know. I had a great time revisiting it. And I think I even like it more today than I did back in the mid 90s.
I was going to ask you this question: who you think was the bigger action guy? Would it be James Cameron or Jerry Bruckheimer?
That's a good question, actually. I think Jerry did more films, but I mean, how can you say anything was better than Terminator 2?
Was Jerry more of a director than he was a producer?
I think he's more of a producer.
Okay.
Yeah, I know he produced like The Rock. He did a few Tom Cruise films, I believe, as well. Top Gun. I don't know if he did any of the Mission Impossibles or not, but he was a big time producer though. He still is. But I can't go against Cameron here. And I don't even look at James Cameron as a big action dude, but when he does it, Aliens as well. I mean, I just whatever he touches is gold. Maybe except for Avatar, but it made more money than anything. So look,
Yeah, man, Avatar first viewing was okay. I can't really get down with it like that. I'm not looking forward to this new Avatar movie, honestly, to be honest. But
it's
I
just
mean, I'm gonna
it's
be
too
honest.
long. Like if I go see it, I gotta go see it in Clarksville where you got reclining seats. I can't sit in a regular Bowling Green seat. Not for
I
3
feel
hours and
it.
12 minutes. Plus
I feel it.
trailers. That's like almost a 3.5 hour movie there.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'd rather watch Terrifier 2 again than watch that movie. And I hated Terrifier 2.
It is
But
shorter.
but yeah, but nevertheless, I just was curious about that. Like James Cameron, yeah, is probably. I mean, James Cameron. I think that he expanded from he transcends genres, and I give him that. He transcends genres. He's not married to just one genre of
No.
film, and he is an auteur. He is like a Spielberg, but he's not Spielberg. You know what I mean? He's like in that upper level of
I would
directors that doesn't have to put out stuff every year. They can just put something out, and people flock to it because it's James Cameron.
I would say top 4 today. And I'm including Cameron because even though he hasn't done anything since 2009, but it is Spielberg, it is Scorsese. I do believe it is James Cameron. I do believe it is Quentin Tarantino. They are your biggest 4 today. Like
4. If I had to include a 5th in there, honestly, hear me out. I give it a Jordan Peele because of this reason. I feel that Jordan is becoming an auteur himself,
yeah,
and
I
that
agree
he's
with that.
starting. Yeah, I think that he's starting to put out stuff that people will go to see, whether you like it or not. You'll see it.
Yeah,
And so I put him up there, but Spielberg is still the man. Like he is in it. He's literally in a league of his own. So in my opinion, Spielberg is like, I'm even excited to see Fablemans. Because like it's Spielberg and it's pretty much his story. I'm excited to see that.
I am too. I just hope
But
it comes locally.
yeah, but all right. So ultimately this movie ends with a tango. It ends with Jamie Lee Curtis and Arnold Schwarzenegger as husband and wife spy team, which I don't see how that would work as well as him maybe because he might have a situation where he has to seduce a lady and he can't really do it with his woman there, But and then who's taking care of their daughter at this point? Yeah, think about these questions. But
Yeah,
and
but
then like it's
unfortunately,
dangerous. Like if both of them die, then this kid will be an orphan.
yeah,
Uh,
absolutely. But rewatching, I was like, man, this would have been a great franchise. Like, I'm sad that it didn't happen. Now, I don't think James Cameron would have returned, but and maybe he is the missing piece with Arnold because, as we know, the Terminator sequels without James Cameron have not been great.
Yeah.
So I think he is the missing piece with Arnold and his sequels. So maybe it's a good thing it didn't happen. But I honestly thought, man, this could have been a great spy franchise, and I'm sad it didn't happen. But
what was so we'll go ahead and give our marks for this film. Brando, I'll let you go first.
oh, it's a 5 out of 5 for me. I love this movie. I was so hyped after watching it, man. I was sharing videos with you on Facebook, on Snapchat. I mean, I was having a ball.
Yeah, I give it a 3.5 out of 5.
3.5.
Yeah, I didn't hate it. I thought it was fun. Uh, the obvious stuntman took me out a little bit, in certain scenes. But Arnold showing up, and doing his lines and stuff was great. And then Jamie Lee Curtis was great. But I give it like 3.5 out of 5. I didn't hate it. It's still a fresh score. It
It is
just
fresh.
is not.
Past three's fresh.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we're gonna let me see here. Bilford says they never released True Lies Blu-ray.
They haven't. I still have it on DVD, but I watched it on Hulu because I figured it would be better resolution.
And it was maybe to its detriment, but yeah. But real quick, talk about what we watched before we get into what we're going to watch. So, I wanted to mention. I don't know if we did it. If I said it last week or I watched. Don't Worry, Darling.
How'd you feel?
Man, I felt that Florence was perfect in the film. Florence was perfect. The film itself wasn't. Florence was absolutely perfect.
Okay, who wasn't?
No, the film wasn't as perfect.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I felt like Florence Pugh was perfect. I thought Harry Styles was also pretty good in the movie as well. But I thought that Florence
He was a hit and miss for me.
Yeah, Florence was like she steals every single scene she's on the screen.
She's really. I was actually impressed with what's her name, the director Olivia
Wilde,
who did the worst promotion.
I'm about to get there. I'm about to get there, Bilfer. Also, I seen where the crawdads sing. I thought the actress was really good in it. I thought the story, the cinematically looked great. It was kind of predictable things.
I have a problem with the reveal.
Yeah,
I don't like how they went about it.
Yeah, but it was like it's something I won't remember as much. I will forget about that. I've watched this movie, but I can't say that for Don't Worry, Darling. I won't forget that I've seen that movie. I will tell you that, but I didn't like it as much. On Letterboxd, I gave it 2 stars. Where the Crawdads Sing, I gave 3.5 stars. But it was good, but it wasn't great. The movie that I wanted to mention that I loved, Brandon didn't, but I loved The Menu. I loved everything about it. I thought Ray Fiennes was excellent. Anya Taylor Joy was excellent in it. John. Look, man, I'm missing his name. Look, how you say it?
John Leguizamo.
John Leguizamo, yeah, was great in the movie as well.
He was Steven Seagal, man.
Yeah, it's like the comedy. Like I was chuckling. There's moments I chuckled. There's moments where I'm just like, oh my goodness, like, dude, do you not pay attention to what's going on now? And then thinking about the movie now, like after watching it, and I think back to like the scenes, like with the boyfriend guy or whatever, dude to play Beast.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think about him, and I'm like, oh, it makes perfect sense why he was doing these things. It makes perfect sense. But I loved it. I felt very Knives Out to me, in the sense of, as far as not like, but it just felt smart. It felt, I loved like them showing what the food is that they're eating and what's in it. It felt like watching a acid trip version of Chopped. I loved it. Yeah, the Menu shocked me, Bilford says. Brandon didn't like it.
In another way.
Huh?
It shocked me too, but in another way. Was that all for you?
Yeah, go for it, buddy.
I got 2 movies and I got a TV show, but I'll go with the movies. I'll start with The Menu since you mentioned you watched it and you loved it. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I gave it a 3 out of 5. I thought the performances were really good. I hated Nicholas Hoult in the movie though. It's like he's the boyfriend. I don't know if he was that. She came off like a prostitute in some parts. Did you feel that?
She was.
Yeah, I thought she was. But it was
Yeah.
kind of losing me because of him, and I was like, I just don't like him in this role. And I like him as Beast. A couple other things I've seen him in. Um, Ralph Fiennes, I thought was phenomenal as the chef. But the guy that stole the movie for me was John Leguizamo. I knew before I watched it that because he went on TV or something and said that this character was inspired by his time working with Steven Seagal in his Executive Decision. So he said, "This is who Steven Seagal really is." And I was like, "I'm going to have fun with this," and I did. Because I hate Steven Seagal, and I think he's
Yeah.
fake and a phony, and he according to John, he absolutely is, and he was my favorite part in the movie. I just thought it was going to be more horror aspects, more of a horror film than what it was. But my
Yeah.
biggest gripe, though, about these people is they didn't fight to live; they just accepted their fate.
Yeah. And the thing about it is this, and the Ray Fiennes makes a comment. He says, "Why didn't you all do more to survive?
Yeah,
Why don't you?"
Anna's the only one that did, and she
Yeah,
got to
because
live.
they're the upper elite, and they feel like things should be handed to them, and when people challenge them, they
Yeah.
don't they buckle essentially, and they don't really fight back. It's just, oh man, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the movie. It's gonna make one of my best movies of the year. But you ready to get into what we're gonna watch next week, there, Brandon?
I got two more for you.
Okay, go ahead.
Please Don't Go. I think that's the name of it, the John Chow movie. I thought that was a really good drama film about a guy that finds out he's got a brain tumor, takes his daughter on a cross country road trip. At the beginning of the movie, she's narrating the movie, says, "You will not like the ending, but you will love the story." I absolutely agree. I didn't like the ending, but I love the story.
Okay, I had to watch it.
And I finally finished In the Heat of the Night. I really enjoyed that show. Carol O'Connor, Alan Ladd, Howard Rollins. I mean, just going back and watching that and Sparta, Mississippi, back in the late '80s and early '90s. The racism, it really wasn't so much about the law as it was about the characters, and I think it was kind of a show that leapfrogged police procedures type shows and got them going. I think that, and I think maybe New York Undercover really started those type of shows.
Yeah, you
Maybe
start watching that
NYPD
one.
Blue, but what
You
now?
started watching New York Undercover, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I did. It's not right now. It's not that great, but I do like the characters, but
yeah.
I'm sure it's gonna pick up
When
probably midway.
the people that's in New York Undercover, like now when I see them in other stuff, I always think about them being in New York Undercover. That's how enduring the characters became to me.
It
Um,
reminds me a lot of the show Shield. I don't know if maybe it's because it's gritty. Shield was very gritty for its time, and New York Undercover reminds me of that show. But I had a blast watching In the Heat of the Night for the most part. They have a rocky reunion at the last season between Carl Weathers and Burgess Meredith, and I love that episode. Carl Weathers didn't fit in though with that cast. He
yeah,
was no
start with it.
he was no Virgil Tibbs, and he couldn't replace Virgil. And
Did they try to replace him? Did they recast him?
yeah, they didn't recast him, but they kind of wrote off his character
Oh,
in the last season. So
oh.
they brought in Carl. He couldn't pick up. He
I
couldn't
do
do it.
want to mention before we get to what we're going to watch this next week. So I said I got some screeners. I want to show you. So I got the police story, or what is it? The policeman, which Brandon watched. He said,
I didn't enjoy.
I've seen this one already. Catherine called Birdie.
It's on Amazon.
It's on Amazon. So Amazon sent me some of these. They also sent me this, which I've seen. it's gonna make my worst list. Amazon. I'm so sorry. The Master.
I didn't like
Um,
it either.
yeah, it's not. I love. I think I understand the message they're trying to do. Now, this is a movie that Brandon wants me to watch, and I will watch it.
I think it's
Emergency.
I think it's gonna make one of my best films of the year. I
Yeah,
really
I'm
do.
gonna watch it. I can't wait to see it. Uh, Women Talking. I got that one in.
Never heard
Um,
of it.
yeah, it's like about women escaping like a cult, uh, pretty much. Brandon's seen this one.
I think it's great. I really do.
Still,
I just didn't like the ending, but
it's life.
really reality.
The one I can't wait to watch is Bones and All. I want that's an anticipation one for me. And then I got this. I want to see this as well. Window and the Wild, or Window and Wild. I think that's Key and Peele in this movie doing the characters. Um, and then 13 Lives. And then I want to show this. Um, I just so they sent me. I get this sent every year from Neon. The movies and stuff that's on Neon. It's a lot of them. I know y'all can't see those, but
It
for
is
the
a lot.
movies that these are some of the movies that's in the set here. Uh, Beauty and Bloodshed, Beba, something like that. Some of these movies sound interesting. Ted K sounds interesting. It's about like Ted Krasinski, the bomber. But I want to show you this. I thought this was pretty awesome. Um, this is Pinocchio. This is what Netflix sent me. They also had some coffee or something in it, but I have it in the kitchen. But don't fall back on me. So it has like a blue Sprite, like that, and other stuff in it. But I'm going to show you the Pinocchio movie. This is Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. So it's going to be pretty fantastic. Um, 13 Lives was wonderful, Bilford says. He also says Catherine Cowell Birdie nominated for 2023 Independent Spirit Award for Best Director. I thought the directing in it was good, but it just didn't really. I thought the actress was great. She's gonna make my list for the best young actors. We do that every year with the Music City Film Critics Association. She's gonna
Yeah.
make my list for one of the best. She played in Game of Thrones. She was like that child queen in that one region or something like that. But Brandon's gonna hate me because what we're gonna watch next week is Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. You can't escape,
We're
Brandon.
supposed to be done. Oh my god.
Next week,
I can't
kicking
get
off
away from Marvel.
kicking off Christmas, Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. It's like 45 minutes long. It's gonna be terrible. I don't know. Sorry, Brandon. It was either that or I was gonna do the Santa Claus or something like that. Not the show, but maybe the movies. I thought we did that already. So,
I think we did one of them.
all right,
That is not a full movie.
that's not a full movie. So, uh, I might pull an audible and do something else, but we might. I like first to watch it though. I'll find something. If not that, I saw it today. I was like, maybe we can do that. I was gonna do Lindsay Lohan's Falling for Christmas, but I don't want to. I don't know if I want to subject myself to Lindsay Lohan
I'm gonna
now.
watch it for Christmas. I'm also gonna watch Freddie Prinze Jr.'s return to rom com with his Christmas movie. It's
Oh,
kind of a
I didn't
ripoff
know
of
that.
J Lo and Owen Wilson's movie, but I'm gonna watch it.
Well, yeah. So I'm gonna. What, Brandon? We'll talk about it. We'll see. So, Brandon, what do you want the people to do this hour and 20-minute episode we have?
I want you to like it. I want you to share it. I want you to subscribe to our channel. But most importantly, I hope you had a really good Thanksgiving.
Hope you had plenty of turkey dressing. If you're vegan, not those things. But
it's not those things.
Yeah.
Not those
But
things.
still, I hope you had an awesome Thanksgiving. I hope you enjoyed your family,
Hopefully you
friends.
enjoyed this episode of True Lies and the many other topics we brought up.
Yeah, so we're random. We're a random podcast, but we love it. But in the meantime and in between time, Aaron Whitlow.
Brandon Spivey.
Thank you for marking out with us here on the Mark Out Movie